Let me re-answer that question then.
Yes.
Because, girl, this is not. So ask me the question.
So the question was, today we are joined by one and only, the amazing, a visionary, a designer, and accessorily also one of my best friends, the Gigi Goode.
Hi, Ellie Belly.
Hi, Gigi. How
Thanks
are
for
you?
having me. I feel like I'm gonna move a little closer because I'm like not quite centered. Oh, that's so much better. You see that?
Yes, I love that.
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for doing me the honor to be my first ever guest.
First ever.
First ever guest. Yes, on this amazing podcast.
Wow.
Yeah,
You're so welcome.
I am so excited, and I'm so excited because I know you personally, and I know all the multiverse of your personality. And the reason why I wanted, and for several months now, if you remember correctly, Fashion Week, like the fall winter, we planned on doing this, and I wanted to do it with you for such a long time because I think I want to share with other people who you are apart from the amazing artist that you are.
I feel like this is gonna be a big thing for you.
Thank you so
This
much.
is what you do best.
I hope so. So I have my little notes that were casually hanging in there because, you know, I'm not such a professional as you are, so I need to stick by my script here.
I actually think that makes you way more of a professional than I am because I would never do something like that.
The thing is, with you, I don't think you need a script because everything comes so unfiltered. I think with my personality and my OCD, I need to focus on something. Otherwise, we'll be talking here for hours.
That's true. That's also my issue. I always got to cut a lot of fat out of the videos that I make.
And you know what I've learned from you is just post it, don't edit it.
It's true.
So we are trying to do that with this. The first question that I wanted to ask you, because here on Transparent, we speak with the heart and with our soul, is really, truly, how are you doing? How are you doing, Gigi Goode?
You know, I think honestly, I'm doing probably the best I've ever been.
Okay, why so?
I just spent the last 2 months in Paris, which is the longest time that I've been away from my home in LA.
Okay.
You know, since going to university and leaving my home in Illinois. And
Yes.
before that, Drag Race was the longest period of time I spent away from my friends and my family, which that was only like 6 weeks.
Okay.
This has been the most transformative experience for me, and it's very bittersweet because I'm leaving on Friday, which is in 2 days from now.
Yes.
But in big part because of people like you who have really like taken me and shown me the city and shown me what Paris is outside of Fashion Week.
I know, and it's such also a bittersweet taste for me because I have learned to rely so much on you. Of course, you are always like a phone call away and everything, but I will miss my partner in crime. We need to be two to do the dance. And
I know.
And yes, let's not get emotional here because we have already dealt with that.
Yeah.
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 You are going for. Are you planning to come back in Paris?
I mean, I've been coming to Paris now for 6 years, and I think this time has shown me that anytime I come back in the future is going to have to just be longer term.
Okay.
And the reality is, I do see myself living in Paris permanently at some time soon. But yeah, I love it here. It feels more like home than anywhere I've lived.
Okay, well, Paris loves you too. I felt like you have entered a new phase, a new cycle in your life, and I want to know what was the lesson of those 2 months about yourself.
I mean, I think that's just it. I think I found myself as an individual.
Really?
Whereas, yeah, I mean, when I say I discovered who I was in LA, it's completely true. I mean, I transitioned there. I found this more adult version of myself, and in part with a whole group of people, and we all kind of discovered these parts of ourselves together, and we began evolving together, and our careers were intertwined, our lives were intertwined. A lot of what we were doing creatively was intertwined.
Shout out to the House of
Shout out
Avalon.
to the House of Avalon, my family forever. And this is not to say that I'm not grateful for that. Like, I think so much of who I am is because of these people who
Yes.
have like carried me up in this state of evolution. But coming to Paris by myself was very scary, and I think it like really magnified exactly who I was as an individual. And now I can go back to LA and return to my family as an individual. And I feel I'll be able to contribute even more
Mm-hmm.
to the group mentality as,
As an individual.
yeah.
So it's like, like how people will like travel the world, become well traveled, and when they come back, it doesn't mean that it's not this, they are not the same people. It just means that they have seen different things, they have seen different culture and
Mm-hmm.
mentality, and they're able to bring back the good stuff home.
Exactly, yeah. And I'm
Okay.
bringing the good stuff
You
home.
are bringing the good stuff home, Mama. As you became her, as you became Gigi Good, what have you unlearned from your previous self or your previous patterns?
This might be a bit, it might, I was going to say it might sound a bit vapid, but it really doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
My When I was growing up, all throughout middle school, high school, I mean, even elementary school, before I really knew what body image issues were, I was so painfully insecure about my body. And I always translated it to being too skinny.
Okay.
And I never, ever, like all throughout growing up, I never wore short sleeve shirts. I never wore shorts. I never went to the pool because I didn't want my legs to show. I
I would have never guessed that from you.
Ever. I mean, like, you can ask my mom. I used to just be petrified to go to like theater cast parties where people were swimming, and I just did not like, I was so insecure about my body. And then after I transitioned, I think I realized that it was so obviously a feminine body
Yes.
that, like, once I discovered that and figured out how to dress and adorn, and also how my body changed through hormones and through some surgeries, like, I
Very microsurgeries, because I would not say you have had surgeries. You were touched by not even a baby angel.
was touched by baby angel.
Yes.
Thank you, doctor.
Talk to me.
um but it's true. I mean, I think those insecurities that were so painful to begin with became like my
Greatest strength.
favorite parts of myself. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I love my body. My body's my favorite thing about myself.
We talked about this prior to, like, in our regular conversations, and you mentioned how you are getting better at saying no.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to talk a little bit about this because for me, for example, I have big people pleasing issues from, I think, also maybe from insecurities growing up, not really finding my place, not being comfortable in the two spirited body and the woman that I want to become. I have so many times, and also some previous trauma, right? Neglect, abandonment, and everything. And you just feel like for people to like you have to be pleasant, you
Mm-hmm.
have to be agreeable, you have to say yes. What is your journey with that?
I've always had a really big issue with confrontation,
Mm-hmm.
and it definitely runs in my family. Like, my mom and I are exactly the same when it comes to this. We do not like conflict. I would rather say what the other person wants to hear
Mm-hmm.
instead of getting into an argument or having to talk about something uncomfortable. Like, it's
Yes.
just easier to do that. And this was actually a big problem in my last relationship, too. I found myself kind of like convincing myself that I actually did agree with a lot of these things, when in reality I knew exactly how I felt, but it was just easier to agree than to start that conversation knowing that it probably would have led to something bad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I think I'm kind of the same in the sense of thinking I'm a people pleaser,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it had less to do with pleasing someone and doing what they wanted than it did just not wanting to rock the boat.
Okay, so your people pleasing tendencies are more about just avoiding conflict rather than something more kind of like a personal or traumatic about who you are.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Don't get me wrong, I have definitely unlearned a lot of that. I've
Mm-hmm.
gotten it, ironically, through my last relationship, one of the biggest things that I learned, not even since breaking up, but being together, and something he taught me was communication and how important
Mm-hmm.
it is. And in the long run, how much easier it is to just say what you're feeling right away, squash it,
Yes.
and move on
Yes.
versus like letting it boil. And yeah.
You know, sometimes how we say like relationships are there to teach us something, and people
Mm-hmm.
have missions in your life. I think in that sense, the mission was accomplished because here in Paris, you speak your truth, you tell what you like, what you don't like, and you know also how to give that piece of information, which is very good.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your inner child, the inner
Oh.
Gigi, the little kid that is so sweet, that little girl inside of you,
I love her.
um, who probably she carried your first dreams, your deepest wounds also, and looking at where you are now, how do you think your inner child feels about the life you've created?
Oh my god, she would lose her mind. I don't even know. I don't even know if I was standing face to face with my younger self, if she would recognize me. I
Mm-hmm.
think like it was such a distant dream to the point where I was completely unaware that it was even a possibility to become who and what I am and do what I do. I just like my childhood, I think in a good way, was very sheltered
Mm-hmm.
in the sense of I was unaware of fashion. I was unaware of pop music. I was unaware of like all of these things that are so
Mm-hmm.
formative to so many children who use those to dream about what could be. And the thing about me as a child is I was never unhappy.
Doing.
I was always just doing what I wanted to do, and I
Mm-hmm.
had very little limitations, especially coming from my mom.
Yeah.
Anyone who did try to limit me, I just didn't really have any interest in them being a part of my life, so it had really no effect on me, but it would take a minute for my inner child to register exactly the fact that that is me.
Who you have become. Yeah.
But I think, yeah, at the end of the day, we would both just skip down the road wearing our ruby red slippers and, you
And
know,
cha cha into the
yeah,
wind.
it's still my favorite movie, by the way, to my inner child.
Oh, she forced me to watch it actually.
She had never seen Wizard of Oz. Can you believe that?
And never, but you know what? When I started seeing it, I guessed the ending. Oh well, I was very close to the ending. Give me that one.
Sure, you were, sure. But that movie also shaped the endings of a lot of movies. So,
Yeah.
whatever preconceived notions you had, it was probably because that movie had an impact on those preconceived notions and you just didn't know it.
Okay. Bless your heart and bless her forever spirit, Judy Garland.
Absolument.
I want to ask, what part of younger Gigi do you feel like you're still healing? Or if there was something that you went through in life and you felt like it was important to share, what would you tell the people watching this video?
I think I've always had a very weird relationship with my dad,
Mm-hmm.
and I love him, but something that I've been finding hard to work through only in myself, because I do think that he has put a lot of effort and work into not only understanding who I am, but also trying to forgive himself and understand why he was thinking the way that he did. For me, I don't know. I felt so detached from a father figure growing up, even though he was there. He was living in the same house. We were having dinner every single night together, but as a kid, it just felt like strangers. So I think now I'm trying to kind of reformat what that relationship looks like. And I do find myself guilty of not reaching out as much as I could.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because, I always say it's a two-way street. And yeah, I mean, I think there's always something that both parties could be doing better, but I find myself thinking about him a lot.
You know what? I'm sure if you think about an activity to do together and you went to him now and you were like, listen, let's go do this,
Yeah,
maybe there will be some mended bridges there.
there already has been. I mean, there have been moments in even the most recent years, like within the last couple of years, where he has shown me parts of
Support.
him that I never thought I would get. He stood up for me when other members of my family, uh, who are really no longer there, were not. When they were against me, he was the one to stand up for me. We've cried together. We have talked about what has happened in the past and laid it out on the table. But yeah, I think you're right. Like the next step is actually spending time
Genuine time
together
together.
after having those conversations, and we really haven't had the opportunity to do that.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this because it is hard to share that part of ourselves, but this is also why this podcast is because you're so beautiful inside out and I want people to get that part of you too. So thank you.
Thank you.
We've talked about your dad, and I want to take some time to shine some light on Christy because we love her.
Christy.
I had the chance to meet her, and she's an incredible, warm, light, go get goer person, and also she was so open and so motherly with me, and I really, we love you, Christy, and I know you're very close.
Yeah.
What will surprise her the most about who Gigi has become today? Because I know she knows you inside out. But if there is one thing that can surprise her, what would that be?
I don't know. I tell my mom everything. And when I say everything, like she knows everything about me and everything that I do, every date I've been on, I mean, we don't
Okay.
go into details
Okay,
obviously,
deep
but like,
details now.
when I lost my virginity, she was one of the first people to know. And when I've talked to her about my comforts and discomforts in relationships with men, and um, she knows like the drugs that I've done. She
Mm-hmm.
knows, if I've smoked cigarettes, if I've done
Okay.
this, if I've done that. Like I can't tell you that she would be surprised by any piece of me, and she has always said, ever since growing up, she's like, just never knows what's going to happen next with me because I will just do whatever I want and be whoever I am. So I think she's pretty numb to new shocking experiences that
Okay.
I'm going through.
I will take that. I will take that. I honestly, I even wanted to share all my deep secrets with her. So she
Yeah.
has that kind of like personality
Yeah.
where you feel safe.
She's just a really honest person, but nothing that she ever says comes from a malicious place.
Yeah,
And
I get what you mean.
even when, like, if someone were to say that any of her habits of parenting or maybe hovering or doing anything like that might be unhealthy, I just can't help but disagree. Like, I think I'm exactly who I am. I'm as adventurous as I am. I am as creative as I am. I'm as confident as I am. Like every good part of me is because of her.
Okay.
So
The podcast is called Transparent. And I want to know what that word will mean for you today. Being transparent.
I think to me, I mean, my first instinct is again, going back to this whole confrontation aspect of my life that I'm still getting comfortable with. And I think transparency to me is exactly what it means, like full honesty and full upfront honesty. It's something that I have found getting uncomfortable with my friends back in LA, with my family, with even dating sometimes. I think, yeah, transparency does really resonate with me right now because it's something that I have seen the biggest change in
Yeah.
myself, and I'm really eager to put that towards my relationships moving forward.
I want to ask you if the world gets really to see who Gigi is in real life. Do you feel like on social media you are showing Gigi? Do you feel like it's your persona or an alter ego?
I think I'm not when I'm posting or when I'm filming a video or something, I'm really not trying to put on any sort of character. Um, I mean, even on Drag Race, like even when my drag was a lot bigger than it is now and a bit more campy, I like to think that I've always remained the same in and out. I do feel, and I really try not to read comments because I think it's dangerous,
Yeah.
and nothing that anyone can say to me on the internet means anything or holds any weight until they are sitting where you are sitting and looking me in the eye telling me that.
Gigi, thank you for being transparent. Because Transparent is also a podcast about dating and dating with intention, we've come to the third part of our podcast.
Uh-oh.
Yes! Let's get a little juice because you need to spill all the beans.
All right, sister, let's do it.
Okay.
Nervous. I haven't looked at any of this, by the way, prior to this recording. I have no idea what she's
And
gonna
you
ask
know
me.
I have the gossip. I can share it with you.
She does.
How has dating been for Gigi so far?
Weird, so weird. I remember, okay, the day that I publicly came out, it was the day that I had like my bandages and I was like, I had already been on hormones for like 6 or 8 months or something like that. I had gotten my surgery and I was like, okay, I have to start telling people I'm trans. The day that I came out, I swear to God, like my DMs completely turned around.
Okay.
And I mean that in the sense that like guys, like straight guys, all of a sudden were in my DMs.
Wow, we love a straight
And
guy.
all of the gay men, like even if I had been flirting with a gay guy 2 days prior to that, all of a sudden they were no longer attracted to me.
Oh, wow.
And it was such a weird thing, and it made me really realize how much people value labels.
Yeah.
And I could look exactly the same from day one to day two, but if day one I am a boy and day two I'm a girl, people are going to feel completely different about how they are attracted to that. So when I kind of realized that my entire dating pool did a 180, that was when things got really interesting for me because I kind of stopped putting myself out there for the people that I used to and the people who gave me attention before in that way. And I started kind of channeling my attention elsewhere. And I know that you have dealt with this before.
Yeah.
It's difficult sometimes to come out as a trans woman and be surrounded by only gay men.
Yeah.
Because not in the sense that they don't understand or they're not supportive, but in the sense that oftentimes the spaces that we are going to are for gay men.
Exactly.
And it's really easy to kind of feel like the only girl in the room that nobody's looking at, no one's interested in, and
Yes.
you can't really get to explore that side of yourself. So honestly, I did a little bit of dating in LA after my breakup, but it wasn't really until I came to Paris that really everything changed. And maybe this is just my American perception of Paris, but I have found here that men, for the most part, don't really seem to care too much about. I know you have some other.
I'm like sat eyeing her right now. I'm like,
I know you have some other experience. In my experience, though, like even, for example, even gay men who I know are gay, who I know identify as gay,
yes,
have asked me out on dates and have expressed romantic interest in me. Whereas, like in LA, that just doesn't really happen.
I will second you on that. One thing is the gay men, they really cheer the dolls. They really admire and cheer us and cherish us and like really treat us like with high end respect. That's for sure. Here in Paris, it's true.
Yeah. But the same thing kind of goes to for straight men. Obviously, there are exceptions to everything, and I do think you've kind of gotten the short end of the stick a couple of times, so to speak.
You know I'm an adventurer.
But and you've experienced this as well, but there's also straight men who have never dipped into dating a trans woman or being with a trans woman who in Europe, my perception based on LA, are just more open to it here.
I mean, I mostly date men that are straight and have never dated a trans woman before.
Yeah.
I feel like my personality gives off, I am going to do a rite of passage. I'm going to introduce you to what the trans experience is. And yeah, and they feel.
I just feel bad for any doll who has to come after you because I just know these men are only going to compare everyone else that they see to you.
I mean, that's also where sharing is important. And that's why we have those platforms to educate and to help our sisters have better self-worth, understand that you're beautiful, kind of play on your strengths,
Right.
Never let any man belittle them and make them feel like they are somewhere not to the part with the cisgender woman. So yeah, that's why we have this, and it all comes down to kind of a matter of self-confidence, but also of authenticity. When you are authentically yourself, and yourself, your inner self is a woman.
Yeah.
When you are that, it shines through.
It does.
And no matter whether big boobs, small boobs, plastic surgery or no, someone will get captivated by that energy, and that's really what is important.
You're right. I mean, people start to see you once you see you.
Exactly. So you have seen yourself even more now that you're in Paris.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I had such a weird relationship to, and we can get into this a little bit, but I had such a weird relationship to getting the surgery, especially dealing with like my last relationship, which was really complicated when it came to that. And I had kind of convinced myself in my head that that's what I needed to do in order to make things work out. And I've since realized that like I don't know, I know myself so much more now, and I'm really thankful that I didn't go through with that, at least not then. Because I think if I had, I would have been like, oh God, what did I just do? Whereas like now that I'm really getting to know myself and getting to know my body and how it reacts to other people,
you can choose for yourself.
Yeah, I can really make an informed decision, and also I've realized there's no rush.
There is no rush. Literally, there is no rush. I think people should stop relying so much on the physical body, because it's not what is important. And I think because of society, because of like TV, social media, and everything, we have a misconception of like identity, of sexuality. If you go back to like the ancient civilization, if you go back to like ancient Greece, or if you go back to like the Maya, and like even like we talk about being two spirited and native people, the way that they view sexuality and the cakes was like completely different from what we have today, because we are in a society that is completely formatted to what are the expectations, and people, not to derail from those expectations, they just like are confident or feel good being in small boxes.
Yeah.
But that's not who we are, and I personally believe that the body is one thing, the physical body is one thing, but there is more to it, and you need to lean into that more.
Yeah, 100%.
So I want to ask you, since we've talked about this, we've brushed up about this, how do you feel dating is as a trans woman, or today as a trans woman? How do you feel like you want to date?
I'm really big on emotional connection as well as physical chemistry. Like I still to this day have never had a hookup. I've never like gone and just like hooked up with somebody. Ass up,
Yes.
like that just doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I don't find myself attracted to that. So I think that is something that is hard with men sometimes, is that I think a lot of times men are really scared of their emotions and like letting go of that, because once you do, it really becomes a lot more magical.
Like what you said is very for all women. And there is an additional layer as a trans woman, when sometimes, and most of the times, when it's just a hookup, it's purely for fetishism. And it's very important that we, as a community, are able to distinguish when a man is attracted to us because he wants to know us, because he's attracted to the feminine part and to everything that we represent, or when that man just wants an experiment because, and as I did a post very recently about an ex that I was dating that was clearly a fetish, and who kept going on and on about my bottom surgery and how it will completely change me and how he likes me the way that I am. And he. It was only he in the relationship, what he likes, what he wants, what will make him feel better and everything. And I've understood, looking back at that relationship, that clearly this man is not interested in me.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. And it is, as you're saying this, I'm like rethinking all of these men that I've been like, having hookups with, and I'm like, do they like me because of me, or do they? I don't know. That is a weird thing to distinguish.
At the end of the day, we all are looking for that one person that will see us, that one person that will be a partner, that one person. And even when we hook up, there is always, and you people should never tell me, I will never believe otherwise. When we hook up with people, somewhere, even if it's just like 1% or 5% of us is thinking, okay, what will happen if I actually date this guy? And I think if you go there accepting the parameter of like you dating him and him having that part of you, you should also know that that's kind of mostly what he is attracted to,
Yeah.
and not the full experience of who you are as Elle or as Gigi.
Yeah. And they should be so lucky.
And they should be so lucky. They're actually so dumb not to go
It's
for the full
sometimes
package.
shocking to me, really.
Yes.
I'm like, wow.
I want to know, what are the non-negotiables now that, okay, and I want you to talk about this, because have you been dating a lot? Have you been in many relationships?
Mm-mm. No, I mean, I think I've really only been in two long-term relationships.
Yes.
The first was when I was in university, and that was almost 2 years, I think, maybe 2 years.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was super sweet, really, really cute, like adorable. And I mean, ultimately, I think it just ended because I decided I was dropping out of school to move to LA and pursue whatever I was going to pursue at that time. I didn't even know. And I think he kind of felt, I don't know, I think he kind of felt like I was abandoning him or something. But, anyways, it was fine. It wasn't even that big of like there was no blow up or anything.
Okay, it was just like I have to go.
Yeah.
I loved you very much.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
expiration date has come to an end.
I think that's really what I can chalk it up to. My most recent relationship, honestly, like, okay, first of all, we went on a date, he and I, probably like 5 years ago.
Oh wow.
And
that I didn't know too.
Yeah. It was it was either right before or right after Drag Race. I had not transitioned yet. I think we met on a dating app. I don't really remember. We went on this date. It was good. It was fine. And then he ended up texting me and being like, sorry, something's getting kind of serious with another person. And he ended up in a relationship for 2 years.
Okay.
So then after that relationship was over, I had transitioned. I had just gotten my boobs done.
Okay. Fresh out of the
Literally.
Yes,
Just
of the
got them done.
bakery.
I think our second date, which was years after the first one, happened like 5 or 6 days after my surgery.
Okay.
So to me, I consider that my first relationship after transitioning.
So your first relationship as who you are.
As a woman, yes.
Yes.
And because of that, I also, I mean, full transparency, had not lost my virginity at that point.
Oh my God. Sister Mary.
So, but you know, that had nothing to do with like being prude or, you know, conservative. It had everything to do with my relationship with my body and not feeling comfortable exploring sex with anybody.
Okay.
Sorry, kex. With
Yes,
anybody.
kex. Let's call it kex.
Until I knew why, and it was ultimately because of that. But we had a very interesting relationship. I will not go into the details of our, you know, kex lives or anything like that. But it was really my first time experiencing a lot of what comes with a relationship after having transitioned. So that relationship lasted 2 years and some change. And it taught me a lot about myself. It was not for nothing. I don't regret it in the slightest, because if it weren't for that relationship, I don't think I would have started my brand. I don't think I would have learned so much about my like the logistical side of myself in terms of scheduling, in terms of calendar, in terms of like getting my life organized to get from point A to point B.
Yes.
He taught me a lot of that. But
we thank you for your service.
We thank you for your service. In the end, it was a bit stifling in terms of me feeling like I was being appreciated or worshipped in the way that I had hoped that would happen in a relationship.
And as the woman that you are.
And as a woman, and you know, it was really complicated, but I didn't realize that until after we had broken up and I had experienced these things with somebody else, and kind of like a light bulb went off and I was like, oh,
this is how I want to be treated.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah. And I'm trying to keep myself from feeling guilty saying that, but it's true. It's the truth. I mean, I did not really know what I was missing until I actually got to experience it. So only 2 relationships, long story short. I definitely think I am a relationship type.
I definitely think you're in a relationship type.
I don't think I trust very easily.
Yes.
So
Rightfully so.
yeah, and I would love to be in a relationship with someone who not only gives those things to me that I learned from my last relationships, but can also make me feel beautiful and sexy and desired, and like, like they would stop a moving truck for me.
I love
or
talking about stuff. I'm just, last time it rained. The day when we separated, it was raining
Yes.
heavily, and I just came from doing all the shopping spree and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I just had an image. I just have to pop up in and tell you the story. I was on the bike. I was fully wet with my paper bags from everything that I've bought that day, and I was biking, and my little coconut head thought that those bags will stay solid till I get home, because they are good bags.
Yeah, but your home is like a
Yeah.
long ways away from where
So
you
I
are.
was biking, and biking that lane that you really like, that is near the scene,
Mhm.
and I was like biking there, and at the crossroad, my bag just tore apart. Everything was on the floor. My panties, the jeans, the perfume, and a car saw this catastrophe happen. And the man decided that he was so busy that he wanted to run over my things. When I tell you, I plunged on that car. I stopped it like this. I was fully wet. The glam was off. People were sitting at the nearest cafe looking at the scenery, and they were like laughing. And you know what I did? I picked up my things. I went to that cafe, and I was like, "Thank you for watching." I swear I said that. I was like, "Thank you for watching," because nobody, not even a single
Nobody
soul,
helped.
nobody helped.
This is the story of being a trans woman.
Exactly.
And I thought you were gonna say you met this man and he stopped the car for you.
Oh, I wish.
No.
No.
Why would I think that?
I had to stop the car myself,
Yeah.
pick up the things myself, but
Honey.
a very fine gentleman gave me a trash bag so I could put all my stuff in it. And he was like, "Where are you from?" When I said I'm half Russian, half African, he was like, "Oh."
You're from that place with that flag with the blue and pink
Yes.
and white stripes.
I should have told him that.
Like, have you seen this flag before? That's where I'm from.
Now that's what I'm gonna say. Is it difficult dating as Gigi Goode?
You know this story, but I'm gonna tell this story. I was sitting at this bar on the street that I live on, and there was this man there. I was with a friend. There was this man there, and he kept like staring at me, and I noticed, and we kept making eye contact. And lately in Paris, I've been playing this game, and it's really helped me get out of my comfort zone, where if I make eye contact with someone, specifically a man, I should be doing this with everybody, but
Yeah.
it's mostly with men. If I make eye contact with a man, I will not break it until they do. So I think I played this game a little too hard with this man. And afterwards, me and my friend get up, we leave. This man chases after us, gets my number, asks me on a date. So we go on a date the next day, and we go to this bar that's also close to where I live, which is the Marais, which is a very gay area. And as soon as we sit down at the table, the waiter comes over and brings us water, and he's like, "Gigi Goode, oh my God, I love you." The first bottle of wine on me. I was like, "Thank you." So this man, this straight man, was like, "Oh, so you're famous?" And I was like, "Let's wait a little bit till we talk about that." And then he's like, "Okay, processing." And he's like, "Come outside with me while I have a cigarette." So we go outside, and he's smoking a cigarette, and another gay finds me and is like, "Oh my God, Gigi Goode, I'm such a big fan of yours," and has this man take a photo of us. At that point, he's like, "Okay, weird." So we go back inside, and on our way in, a third gay stops me and goes, "Oh my God, Gigi, I loved you on RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm so proud of you in your transition."
Oh,
I was like,
clocking you.
"Thank you." And this man like goes white in the face. He doesn't even know what to think, and ultimately we go back to the table.
Did he know what RuPaul Drag Race
No,
was? Okay.
no, but he knew what drag was.
Oh yes.
And so at the table, he's silent. I'm like, is everything okay? I know that was a lot. And he was like, yeah, well, I'm realizing now that you are famous, that you do drag, and that you are trans. And I had no idea about any of these things. And I said, is that a problem? And he said, honestly, you're very beautiful. I've been loving the conversation we're having. So let's keep talking. And we did. That's just a short little story, but
yes, we love a little story time.
For the most part, it has not been an issue because most of the men that I have been dating, again, I meet most of the men here in Paris not on any apps. Like they just, I meet them when I'm out having coffee or wine or whatever.
Yes. And it's the best way to meet.
I think so too. Best and worst, because best they get to meet me without having any preconceived ideas of who I am, and I like to think I'm a catch. It's hard in that sense because if I'm out in public, I'm very thankful that I have come to a place in my career where a lot of people recognize me when I'm out on the street.
A lot. Emphasis on a lot.
But sometimes it does get a little frustrating when I'm out with someone who has no idea who I am, and I then have to explain to them why so many twinks are fans of mine. But I kind of think above anything else, it's just kind of funny, and I love to see the looks on these men's faces when it does happen, because the math doesn't math.
I love that. So I actually want to kind of continue that question and asking you as a doll, and also I am asking this question because I do not know what to do. Do you think it's important? When do you think it's important to come out?
Like on a date?
Yes, on a date.
Or to a man?
To a man. Let's say, for example, you met a guy on the street, he took your number, he wants to take you on a date, and here comes, he doesn't know who you are, he doesn't know Drag Race, even if he sees the fan, he doesn't really understand it. What would be the best moment in your sense or in your mind to, and I hate to do this, to kind of come out as trans?
I don't.
You don't?
No.
Okay. How do you do?
Because to me, I think everybody's different. The one thing I will say to any trans woman who is listening to this, you should never, ever, ever come out to a man that you are trans if the two of you are alone and there's nobody else around. That is when things get dangerous. That is oftentimes when, things could get violent. And yes. I think when you're in a public space, if things do get violent, there's other people there.
Yes.
If
you're
things
safer.
Don't get violent, but you can, when something shifts in their mood or in their demeanor, you can tell, and you can have the wherewithal to say, thank you so much for dinner. I hope you have a great night.
Pack your things.
Yes.
And you got to go.
Yeah. But in my experience, I always like to be super transparent. It's not the first thing I'm going to say to a man. But agreed. I like to get to know someone a little bit, talk about myself, talk about yourself, and then, again, in a public space, I will say, just so you know, in case you were not aware already, I am trans. I hope that's okay with you. More often than not, it
mainly is. I mean, for me, sometimes it is.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it has been.
Yeah. Oh, she went.
So, Gigi, we are down to the last bit of this podcast. I call it the Truth Deck section. It's one beautiful idea that I have had from my beautiful coconut head. And here is how it works. You have 14 questions, 7 white cards and 7 black cards. So the white cards are questions about self-improvement, empowerment, and becoming. And the dark black cards are the sexy questions, the untold truth, the spicy me a little bit, you know? So you can
Okay.
choose a number, two numbers from 1 to 7 and from 8 to 14.
So 4 numbers total.
So 4 numbers total.
Okay.
Let's start.
I will start with number 4. I can't see it.
Yes. Alors, if you could delete one toxic pattern forever of yours, what would it be? How do you get toxic? What does toxic Gigi look like?
I think that
Hmm.
I don't. I mean, I can't say that I'm toxic in any way, but I do think that a pattern that I have had in past relationships, which I do need to work on, and now that I'm like aware of it, I need to work on it, is anytime, and this is why most of my relationships have been very short. Anytime something happens, like a red flag, or they say something weird, or they like treat a service worker weird, or like something like that, my brain will be like, all right, this is not the person for me.
Okay.
And I like, there's no room to work through that or to communicate how I feel so that they can work on that part of themselves, anything like that. Like, I have always, always, always resorted to, I don't think this is going to work out. And I think this also, to a fault, is why my last relationship maybe lasted so long, because I did let a lot of things go where I'm like, okay, we can work on this.
Without addressing them.
Yes. So now I'm like, I'm finding the balance.
Okay. I love that. Second question, my dear. 1 to 7.
7.
Ooh. What is your relationship with vulnerability right now?
I can be very vulnerable. I'm very comfortable being vulnerable.
Okay.
I am. I'm very upfront, very honest. Well, in terms of like myself and my, like what I need out of intimacy, what I need out of a relationship. I'm very vulnerable. I don't, definitely not to a fault. I think I have a very comfortable relationship with vulnerability right now. And I kind of think I always have. I'm always good at, I guess, I don't know, there's a weird line between like sharing how I feel in regards to the other person and their actions versus sharing how I feel in regards to like what, like information about myself. If that makes sense.
You're more comfortable sharing now about yourself than
Yes.
sharing about what is happening with the other person.
In the relationship. That's something I'm working on. Something that I'm very comfortable on is my own like internal vulnerability and like opening up to somebody.
First time we really had like a deep conversation and we talked about like how you were feeling and what was happening and everything. I was like, oh wow, she trusts me enough to share that part of herself, and it was beautiful. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So now 7 to 14, give me your numbers. We want some spice in here.
8.
What is a fantasy you've never told anyone?
Oh my god.
Yes, let's go deep and
Oh my god, okay.
You have to tell the truth. Where is my lie detector?
I know exactly what the answer is. I'm just trying to figure out how to say it. I think the whole like, is this problematic? I don't think so. And if it is, I don't care. Cause
We can beep it.
the like professor teacher fantasy, I've always like this type of dynamic: teacher, coach, professor, mentor, that sort of.
And who would you be? The student or the teacher?
I'm the student.
Oh my god, look at you, you little chickadee.
I just you little chickadee. I just remember, like, in high school, there were a few teachers that I just was like, I didn't even hear a word out of their mouth because I was like, oh, you're so hot.
You know
In
that
college too.
you know that part in like have you seen All About Steve?
Mm-mm.
Ugh. Okay, I can say it. I can continue if you haven't seen all with Sandra Bullock.
Mm-mm.
Oh my god, you have to watch it. We have to watch it together.
Okay, we'll watch it.
Yeah. Okay, let's pass on to the next number.
Let's do 12.
What is the wildest place you have had cakes before?
Honestly, I mean, I hate to say really nowhere that wild. Let me think.
Or some little like action, like a touchy body, No.
Wow. Um, um,
Tell the
it's all,
internet.
it's all coming back to me now. Okay,
What's in the internet is forever.
oh my god. Oh fuck. I mean darn.
What was the word that I was saying? Like, well, last time was so funny. Instead of saying "oh fuck," you say like "oh what." I kept saying it for like a
I
week.
don't remember. I think the craziest place that I've done anything more than just like making out with someone has been in like the bathroom of a bar, I guess. Which is not that's not that crazy.
It's not that crazy, but okay.
No, it's not that crazy.
When was this? When was
All
this?
right. I'm spontaneous, but not that spontaneous, and like
you like a firm bed.
I like a bed. I like a
Mhm.
bedroom. I like somebody. I like
Four
a
walls.
space, 4 walls, no strangers. I don't know.
Like,
Yeah.
let's say like a little traditional.
Yeah, I guess so. A little bit, huh?
So, here on Transparent, we believe that becoming never stops. And I want us to do, hold my hand right here. I want us to do, close your eyes, and I want us to do an exercise of visualization. I want you to imagine where you want future Gigi to be. And let this video be like an active manifestation where you kind of predict your future and who you want to become.
I can see it very clearly. I can. I also imagine myself with a really amazing person who shares all of my visions for the world and my humor, but is not funnier than me. And we live in 2 separate houses that are right next door to one another because I have to have my privacy.
In a big old land. On a big old land.
I want to be close to everything. I imagine we have
Okay.
like 2 townhouses in the same city. And yeah, and I am just wildly successful, but not even in a financial sense. Obviously, yes, but successful within my relationships, within my family, within my self-worth and my self-image, successful in my creative endeavors, and fruitful in my inspiration that just keeps flowing through the same way that it does now and the way that it always has.
Amen. I wish you nothing but that. Okay, we are about to close now. Gigi, today and every day, you are not just good, you are the best. Thank you so much for doing this with me. Thank you for joining Transparent and for being our first iconic guest.
Thank you for having me, sister. I love you so much, and so happy that we got to have this
Yes,
cute little
I am too.
moment.
I am too. And for all of you viewers, don't forget to subscribe, to like. Obviously, I guess you already follow Gigi, and if you don't, follow her. If you're just viewing my video and not following, follow me too. And until next time, remember, you're beautiful, you're blessed, you are the source. Mwah. Yes.